He's cancelled, literally cancelled. No one's playing his music. He is not going on tour. People aren't collaborating with him. People are coming out and denouncing him. And, you know, basically people are saying, yo, fuck Chris Brown. Period.
You are now listening to Pree Da Podcast with your host, Majaro.
What is up, my tribe of people? Welcome back to the Pree Da Podcast YouTube channel. I'm your host, Majaro, aka Midge. And before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because we're trying to grow the community, and by sharing this with your friends and family, that goes a long way in helping us do that. Now, let's get into it. What is up, my tribe of people? And before we start this video, I just want to make it clear that we on this platform do not condone any sort of violence of any kind, especially against women. And with that being said, it's time to talk about Mr. Christopher Breezy Brown. If you ain't a UK citizen, you probably don't know that Chris Breezy Brown is currently doing a tour in the UK. And with that being said, we've all seen the videos of him dancing on, you know, crazy fans, women fighting over his jacket. And as a Chris Brown fan personally, it's good to see. It's good to see all the love, all the excitement. Like, I know people in my own friendship group that have, you know, struggled to find tickets, paying over the odds for tickets, you know, buying from resellers at stupid prices just to be on his first UK tour in over a decade. And it seems whenever Chris Brown is doing something successful, there seems to be a section of people who feel justified in bringing up his past domestics with him and Rihanna in terms of what happened in the car, in the Lambo to be particular. And as a result of that, people are, I wouldn't say trying to cancel him, but making life very difficult for him. And that's when I saw a Shadeborough post of Chris Brown responding to some of the critics who, from his point of view, always want to bring up those dark histories whenever he's trying to do something good in his personal life or real life. Let's look at the post that Shadeborough made. Chris Brown calls out white celebrities who have been accused of domestic violence. And then he goes on to screenshot and post on his story a bunch of famous actors and actresses who have been perpetrators of domestics against their partners or other people. People like Ollie Osbourne, Nicolas Cage, Slay, Charlie Sheen, and some randoms. Some people I don't know. Some former actors and famous people that were popping back in the day but not popping today, essentially. The whole sentiment behind his rant on Instagram was, why does everyone always have to bring up, you know, my past history, whereas with all these other white celebrities and, you know, performers and actors, you guys ain't giving them the same energy. You ain't, you know, harassing them. You ain't constantly in their DMs or in their comment sections or whenever he's trying to do something good, always trying to bring him down by mentioning his past. And that brings up a good conversation in my eyes, as I've recently done a video discussing the Mason Greenwood situation in terms of his allegations as well. And I feel like we need to have a conversation about quote unquote forgiveness or being uncancelled. When is the limit where we feel like this person has quote unquote repented or tried to do the best to counteract their evils or pay back what they've done or try to be a better person or reform themselves, essentially? When is it the right level for us to give them our forgiveness in terms of not always bringing up their past and letting them move on in their life and stop trying to drag them, essentially. Now, let's look at some of the top comments on that post. And he ain't wrong for doing so. In our current society, we have a hard time forgiving people and give them a second chance in life. Look at the state of relationships. Let it go. Some of us are here acting like saints and cancelling people. We have all made mistakes. Cancellation is not a real thing. He's complaining about being cancelled while on a sold-out world tour. Why is he selective of which abuse to be responsible for? What happened to Karuchi, one of his ex-girlfriends? For what happened that Karuchi had to get a restraining order, or all the multiple women he abused and closed because he doesn't like the colour of their skin? Damn. That's a big allegation there. He was never cancelled. He still lived his life and had many albums, awards and concerts. Now he's claiming a colour he doesn't like to compare himself to white celebrities who also abuse people. Yeah. And if you just read on and on, there's just, people defending him and saying, get over it. When is the right time to forgive a person? Or when is enough enough? When is your debt paid? And in regards to Chris Brown, at the time when everything blew up, the reason why I feel like a lot of people still remember this situation was because he was basically the Michael Jackson of his generation. He was with the Beyonce of his generation. They were basically the next power couple. You know how we put all these labels and all these expectations on celebrity relationships when we have no idea what's actually happening behind closed doors. Put up as, the it couple, the newest it couple. And it's, from all accounts, it seems that the relationship was good. And then someone was being unfaithful, allegedly. And an altercation ensued inside the car after an awards show, after party. And Chris Brown crossed the line. It was all over news. Photos of her face were plastered all over newspapers, plastered all over the news, radio and TVs. So this was the age of multinational and international media. So when this broke out, I remember it because I'm still a massive Chris Brown fan. Not so much now, but definitely earlier back then I was all about Chris Breezy. Man was doing the take you down moves and everything. So when this story broke, it was like Will Smith levels, like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock levels type of news. Probably even more back in the day because it was just so disgusting, right? So that breaks out. He's arrested. He's charged. Numerous court dealings. He's cancelled, literally cancelled. No one's playing his music. He is not going on tour. People aren't collaborating with him. People are coming out and denouncing him. And, basically people are saying, yo, fuck Chris Brown, period. So he was dealing with that. He had to pay community service. He had to go to anger management classes and therapy. He had to do all that. He still had his, run-ins with, fans in terms of all the alleged, kicking people out of rooms and kicking them out of houses and stuff like that. He still had his relationship dramas. And this was, just at the start of the social media age where everything about your life is being broadcasted by someone somewhere. So he was trying to take precautions in terms of NDAs and all this stuff, but people were still being people. And, if stuff was being done bad to them, allegedly by Chris Brown, they would let the people know about it. So from his point of view, he feels that I've done my time. I've paid my dues. I've come out and apologized numerously on numerous interviews. I remember he even did a documentary about the whole situation, essentially basically saying his side of the story in terms of it was a toxic relationship between him and Rihanna. He cheated on her basically, and she found out, and that's why everything kicked off. He was saying that he's tried his best to live a better life for not only him, but his daughter as well. So it sounds and seems like he's doing the most to make up for his shortcomings. And I feel like him having a daughter has definitely helped with that, in terms of, you know, now he has someone to protect who's actually a woman, or, you know, a little girl, and might put everything, all his actions that he's done in the past into context and being like, right, I need to change now and teach. I need to change now, or I need to protect my daughter from guys like me, essentially. Now that brings us to today, where he's finally allowed back into the UK after, I think, 15 years. Basically, because of his criminal record in relation to that case with Rihanna, he was barred from entering the UK at all. So not even coming into the UK to, you know, just to do a little link up and that, you know, see them and them in the block. So in the end, he wasn't allowed to step foot in the country. But now, after 15 years, that ban has been lifted, and now he's able to tour. And you see how popular he is. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, fuck Chris Brown ain't this, Chris Brown ain't that. But he still managed to have a career and still managed to make a living in the States and overseas. So there was a time where people weren't playing his music, but then over a while, people, you know, and that's a testament to him trying to rebuild his character and try to, you know, move on with his life after that altercation. And he's released albums and they've gone #1 and they've done really well. However, there's also still some stumbling blocks in, you know, performing live on TV, because once you cross that line, a lot of production teams, a lot of networks just ain't gonna work with you because of your history. Like, I know he was supposed to do a Michael Jackson tribute at the music awards, or one music award. I can't remember which one, but they hired him and then they fired him weeks before the scheduled performance. So all the work he had to do was basically for nothing. So he ended up just posting the performance on Instagram for people to see, because he didn't just want all the hard work and effort go to waste, especially from all the dancers and choreographers that have been working on that project. So he just released it on Instagram, and there was a lot of people saying, why wasn't he allowed to perform this? Is this because of the Rihanna situation? You know, it's been 16 years, it's over with, you know, we can all move on. And in my opinion, I feel like we should move on, unless he does something else that is, you know, on that same level of abhorrentness. We should let him live his life. We should let him move on without constantly bringing up his past, which was, you know, like I said, we ain't condoning what he did, but at the same time, if Rihanna herself can forgive him, I feel like we all can forgive him as well. Or at least not bring it up every single time he's trying to do something positive in his life. Well, that's my opinion. Let me know yours. And before you go, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because that goes a long way in helping us push this out to the wire. The algorithm helps us reach more people. And thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Oh yeah, new podcast episode releasing this Friday with my boy Jude, Money Boys on the Block. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about, you know, motivation and self-improvement. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that this Friday, and the clip's coming out on Saturday. Watch this space, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
I be killing all my foes, even though I got it all on my own. Success sweet, yeah, it tastes like honeycomb. Dropping blood tears and even breaking bones. I'm sipping on Patron while aiming for the throne. I've been to hell and back and even